Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about H parameters, hybrid parameters, also called H parameters. So far we discussed two parameters. One is Z parameters and another one is Y parameters. Now today we discuss about hybrid parameters or simply H parameters. So this is generalized block diagram of two-port networks. Port 1 V1 and current I1. Similarly, port 2 V2 and current I2. This is output port and this is input port. We may indicate some nodes. 1 dash, here 2 dash. The total 4 variables V1, I1, V2. These are the total 4 variables. Among these 4, any 2 variables are dependent and remaining 2 are independent. Here in H parameters, V1 and I2 are dependent parameters. Dependent parameters. That means V1, port 1 voltage and port 2 current are dependent parameters. Remaining port 1 current and port 2 voltage are independent parameters. Okay. In hybrid parameters, V1, I2 are dependent parameters. I1, V2 are independent parameters. That means V1 is a function of I1 and V2. Similarly, I2 is a function of I1 and V2. Now coming to the equations, H parameters equations, and V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. Similarly, I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. These two are the equations in H parameters, right? So V1 is a function of I1 as well as V2. Similarly, I2 is a function of I1 and V2. So in terms of matrix, V1 I2 is equal to H11 H12 H21 H22 and here I1 and V2. It is a product of H11 I1 plus H12 V2, H21 I1 plus H22 V2. Now find one by one H11. Observe here, by using equation 1, H11 is equal to V1 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. When V2 is equal to 0 means short circuit. V by I, it is the impedance at input port. That means short circuit. H11 is the short circuit input impedance. H11 is the short circuit input impedance measured in terms of ohms. V2 is equal to 0. That is, this is a two-port network. It is I2. Here V2 is equal to 0. V2 is equal to 0. Short circuit. Voltage 0 means short circuit. So that's why H11 is also called short circuit input impedance. It is measured in terms of ohms. Next, second, H21. This is first H parameters. When V2 is equal to 0. Similarly, when V2 is equal to 0, second parameter H21. H21 is equal to I2 by I1. I2 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. I2 by I gain, output current by input current gain. That means H21 also called short circuit forward current gain. Short circuit forward current gain. There is no units gain. Amperes by ampere get cancelled, only constant I2 by I. Short circuit forward current gain. And coming to the third, okay, H11 over H21 over. Now H12 H22. And third H12 is equal to, here H12 is equal to V1 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. V1 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0 means open circuit. It is a two-port network. I1 is equal to 0 means there is no current flows means open circuit. In open circuit only current is equal to 0. Okay. Open circuit input by output. H12 are also called open circuit reverse voltage gain. Reverse voltage gain. Open circuit reverse voltage gain. Here also there is no units, V by V. And coming to the fourth parameter, H22. H22 is equal to I2 by V2. I2 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. That is open circuit. So I by V admittance. Both are at output ports. So open circuit. H22 are also called open circuit output admittance. Open circuit output admittance. So these are all the 4 H parameter definitions. H11 is equal to V1 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. V2 is equal to 0 means short circuit. Short circuit input impedance measured in ohms. H21 I2 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. Short circuit forward current gain. H12 V1 by V2. I1 is equal to 0. So that is open circuit. Open circuit reverse voltage gain. General voltage gain means output by input. Here input by output. Reverse voltage gain. H22 I2 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. Open circuit output admittance measured in terms of ohms. Okay, these 4 are the H parameters. Now already we know that Z parameters and Y parameters. Z parameters V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2. V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22. Similarly, this is Z. Y parameters current. I1 is equal to Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2. I2 is equal to Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. Okay, in Z parameters, voltages are dependent on current. In Y parameters, currents are dependent on voltage. But whereas in hybrid V1 input voltage depends upon input current and output voltage, whereas output current depends on input current and output voltage. It is a mixed combination. Observe here two parameters. Two parameters are calculated using short circuit. Another two parameters are calculated using open circuit. Right? Now we can represent H11 in terms of whenever V2 is equal to 0, V1 by I1. Observe here, V2 is equal to 0. This is V2 is equal to 0. In Y parameters, V2 is equal to 0. I1 by V1 is equal to Y1. But here the combination is V1 by I1. So this is equivalent to 1 by Y1. H11 is equal to 1 by Y1. Similarly, here I2 by I1. Observe here same Y parameters. I2 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. Okay, this is 0. I2 by I1. V1 get cancelled. Y21 by Y1. So H21 is equal to Y21 by Y1. Next, coming to the third, H1 to V1 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. Observe Z parameters here. When I1 is equal to 0. V1 by V2. This is V1 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. Z12 by Z2. So H12 is equal to, in terms of Z parameters, Z11 by Z21. Next, last one, H22, I2 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. When I1 is equal to 0, I2 by V2. Okay. And I1 is equal to 0, I2 by V2. 1 by Z2. So H22 is equal to 1 by Z2. So once you know the Z and Y parameters, Z parameter is open circuit parameters, Y parameters are short circuit parameters. Once you know the Z parameters and Y parameters, we can easily calculate H parameters also, right? And coming to the circuit, how to represent circuit model. Observe here, this can be represented using some KVL. This can be represented using KCL. Okay. Then this is I1 current, H11 into I1. This is also voltage. This is R into I is voltage. This is also voltage. So this is H11 into I1 voltage, and another one is dependent voltage source. This depend upon H12 into V2. V2 is the port 2 output voltage. So now this is V1. apply KVL here. V1 is equal to I1 into H11 plus H12 into V2, dependent voltage source. And coming to the output side, this is I2 current and this one is V2 voltage. Okay. Using KCL, I2 is equal to one dependent current source H22 into V2. So H22 into V2. So I2 current divided into two parts. One is H22 into V2 and second one is H21 into I1. Dependent current source H21 into I1 is a current source dependence upon input current source. So this is the equivalent circuit model. Equivalent circuit model for H parameters. And remember that this H parameter model widely used in electronic circuits to model the transistor characteristics. Mainly used in, here the main application is mainly used in electronic circuits, mainly used in electronic circuits to model transistors, characteristics. Right? How to draw the equivalent circuit model? Observe the equation 1. This is a voltage equation in terms of KVL. Observe the equation 2. It is a current equation. Current equation means KCL. Current divides into two parts, H22 V2 and another one is H21 into I1. Here it is only series network. Why? Because voltage means in series. V1 is equal to sum of H11 I1 plus H12 into V2. Here also current is sum of parallel. In parallel current adds, right? In series voltage adds. Like that we have to draw the equivalent model. Now you go to one simple problem. Then how to calculate the H parameters. Problem. Find H parameters. Find H parameters for the following circuit. The circuit consists of one is 2 to 4. 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 2 ohm. This is the given circuit. For this circuit, find out the H parameters. The first procedure is whether we calculate H parameters or Y or Z. First of all, simplify the circuit. Simplify the given circuit. Convert into some T network. Then only we can easily apply the concept. Right here, this 3 format delta convert into star. What is this voltage? 2 into 2, 4 by total resistance. Total 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4, 8. 4 by 8. Now this resistor value is 4 into 2, 8 by 8. And this resistor value is 2 into 4 by total 8 by 8. Now draw the equivalent circuit. The equivalent circuit is 1 ohm. It is a 4 by 8, 0.5 ohm. It is a 1 ohm. It is another 1. Now this is the circuit. So this is the V2 and current I2. Similarly, it is I1 and current. Now these two are in series, right? Then again equivalent circuit is series. Now it is in T network, 1.5 ohm. It is a 1 ohm. It is a 1 ohm. It is a V2, I2. It is a I1. It is a okay. Indicate some figures. Figure A, figure B, figures. Now indicate some notations, right? Now this is R1, R2, R3. Now by using this one, you can find H parameters. Already the H parameters, V1 is equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2. Similarly, I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. Now find out one by one. H11, the first parameter. H11 is equal to V1 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. When V2 is equal to 0 means short circuit. Consider this circuit. Here it is a R1, here it is a R2, here it is a R3, here it is V1, I1, here it is I2. Now here it is a V2. V2 is short circuit. V2 is equal to 0. So whenever V2 is equal to 0, find out current. V2 is equal to 0. Current I1 is equal to total current V1 by, these two are in parallel. It is a short circuit parallel, R1 plus R2 parallel to R. By using this one, V1 by I1 is equal to V1 by I1 is equal to R1 plus parallel combination of R2 and R2. That is equal to R1 is equal to 1.5 ohm. Here it is 1.5, here it is 1, here also 1 ohm. 1.5 plus 1 parallel to 1, 0.5. 1.5 plus 0.5, that is equal to 2 ohms. So V1 by I1, that is equal to H11. H11 is equal to V1 by I1, that is 2 ohms. Similarly, find out when V2 is equal to 0, H21. Second parameter, H21. H21 is equal to I2 by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. The circuit is, this is R1, R2, R3. Here V2 is equal to 0. This is I2 current. Here it is V1. Here it is I1. Or otherwise directly represent V1. Here it is a V1. Here value 1.5, 1 ohm, here also 1. Now you have to find I2 by I1. Observe here, in this circuit only one is the source, V1 is the source. So all current flows left to right. But here out is from right to left. I2, I1 are the opposite. Now apply current divider rule. Current divider rule is equal to total current. Here minus, y minus, both are opposite. Minus I1 current, I1 current into opposite resistor R3 by total resistor R2 plus R3. That is equal to I2 by I1 is equal to minus R3 by R2 plus R3. That is equal to minus 1 by 2. So I2 by I1, that is equal to H21 minus 0.5. Okay. Short circuit, V2 is equal to 0 means short circuit current gain, forward current gain. Short circuit forward current gain. Here negative symbol indicates that there is a 180 degree phase shift. 180 degree phase shift between input current and output current. Input current and output current. Okay, this is the phase shift between input current and output current. That is the second parameter. And coming to the third parameter. V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. And I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22. So these two over H11, H21 over. Now here H12. H12 is equal to V1 by V2 when I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0 means open circuit. Now the circuit is, this is the circuit. Here it is 1.5 ohm R1, R3. Now here is I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0 means open circuit. Okay, here it is V2. Now find out V1 by V2. Concentrate here. When I1 is equal to 0, there is no drop across R1 resistor. I1 is equal to 0, there is no drop across R1 resistor. So the voltage, here the voltage is, this is a V1, open circuit. Okay, this is open circuit, voltage is V1. Okay. There is no drop across R1 resistor. Here itself is the V1. Here is the V1, this is V1, there is no drop across resistor R1, this is also V1. Now apply voltage divide rule. V1 is equal to apply voltage divide rule. Apply voltage divide rule. V1 is equal to V2 into R3 by R2 plus R3. From that, V1 by V2 is equal to V1 by V2 is equal to 1 by 1 plus 1, that is equal to 0.5. So H12 is equal to V1 by V2, that is equal to 0.5. Reverse voltage gain 0.5. Then coming to the last parameter, H22. H22 is equal to I2 by V2, I2 by V2, when I1 is equal to 0. Okay. Here this is the V2. Here I1 is equal to 0. Open circuit. We have to find whenever I1 is equal to 0, there is no drop across this resistor R1. There is no drop across resistor R1. Now simply apply KVL in this loop. Then find I2 current. I2 is equal to V2 by R2 plus R3. So from that, I2 by V2 is equal to 1 by 1 plus 1, that is equal to 1 by 2, 0.5. So H22 is equal to I2 by V2, that is equal to 0.5 units or moles. It is an open circuit. I1 is equal to 0 means open circuit. So open circuit output admittance. Open circuit output admittance, that is equal to 0.5 ohms. Like that, we have to find H parameters for any given circuit. The procedure is, first of all, simplify the circuit diagram, convert in terms of T network, then after that apply the short circuit concepts and open circuit concepts. Then we can easily find the H parameters. Okay, thank you.